Good morning. I just woke up. I slept so long, like literally almost like 10 hours. Hello. So, I had a friend call me yesterday, and they were kind of dealing with processing their spiritual journey and going through kind of the period where the ego tells us that we have to behave a certain way and think a certain way and be a certain way in order to be spiritually enlightened. And I immediately was drawn to the story of Jesus in the temple. And I don't remember the story to the exact ramifications of it, but Jesus is like 13, and the Pharisees are using the temple for profitable gain. They're using the people to get needs met, mainly like monetarily, I'm pretty sure. So he goes in and he storms the temple, he throws tables, and he runs the Pharisees out. And there's so many times that we think about the archetype of Jesus being this holy and pure, only loving, only compassionate, only positive, 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 positive. And here's the thing. We're all human. Every emotion that you have, from fear to anger to compassion to love, all of those emotions are part of the human experience. They're part of the spiritual experience. They are all aspects of the one God. Because I've always had this vision of like God being a bubble, God being like the edges of our universe, this little permeable space, and everything inside of it is part of the one God. Being angry, being upset, especially when you're righteously so, like say you're dealing with a toxic relationship or someone is actively bullying you, and you start with peace and you state what it is that your boundary is and what your expectation is, and that person continues on and your energy raises up and you go, hey, we talked about this is my boundary, this is not acceptable, you are disrespecting me. And then they agree upon it and they do it again. By that third time, you are righteous to have your anger. You are righteous to yell. You are righteous to step into your power of how that person is treating you. It is not always about turning the other cheek or just being beaten because someone has anger towards you and you just sit there and take it. No, you have a right to stand up and protect yourself, your loved ones, situations. You have a spiritual divine birthright to do that. And getting stuck in this alter ego of everything is peace, everything is love, that's not real. That is never what you were called to do. That is never what was told for you to do. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Yes, love thy neighbor. But if thy neighbor is coming into your house trying to steal from you, shoot your neighbor in love. And I think there's a lot of spiritual bypassing that happens with people. And it's part of the thing. It's lost in the ego. It's a spiritual ego death. And your feelings, your statements, they are valid. You are valid in having righteous anger. And so, and I've been given a lot of that before too, especially online when people aren't talking to you face to face, they love to well, I thought you were spiritual. I thought you need to be healed. I thought you needed this. Because I went through one of these things very recently where I have a family member who, I'll just say it, my stepmother, who has been in my family since I was 5 years old. And around the time I was 8, I had gone there several times because I used to go there for summer and for Christmas or Thanksgiving. And every time I went there, I felt bullied by her. I felt like she was disrespecting me. I felt like she was being mean to me, something I'd never really experienced up until that point. She was the first person in my life to ever bully me. Isn't that sad? The first person that ever bullied me in my life was my own stepmother. And I wrote this letter to my father when I was in third grade, I think, going, hey, she's mean. I don't like her. I don't want to see her. And if you're going to be with her, I do not want to come see you. And over the course of 30 years now, she has repeated that cycle endlessly, where she bullies, she demeans, she degrades, and she's very, very sneaky about it. She will go about it in very particular ways where I can get there and we'll start with connection. We'll start with empathy. We'll start somewhere, and somewhere along the way of me telling my story, judgment shows up. And the last time it happened, and this is probably like 3 or 4 months ago, I was online doing a live. I wasn't doing a live. I was watching my stepsister's live, who I've always gotten along with her, like no issues with her. And all of a sudden, my stepmother was there, and my stepsister and I were talking, and my stepmother made a demeaning comment. And I got off that live, and I sent her a 5-minute audio that was not nice. It was not nice, where I laid all of her shit bare, where I was like, you've been like this my entire life. You treat people like this. You've been abusive. You've been mean. And I'm not the only one that feels this way. Like, literally, my entire family feels like this about her. She has isolated my father from that side of my family for decades. Now, they don't even do stuff together. Him and her have not gone to a family function in probably 2 decades because no one wants to see her. And so I laid my shit bare. I laid all my feelings I had with adult verbiage on the floor. I called her a few names, which were deserving of those names. If someone's a liar, they're a liar. And thinking maybe that if I finally released all of my righteous anger, that she would see something and go, I have been kind of abusive towards you. No, I got a text message from my father saying that if I didn't live so far away, he would drive over and put me in a hospital. And it's like, you can be a divine, loving creature, enlightened and pure and connected straight to source energy. But when someone comes in and threatens you and they are trying to take away your power or hurt you, righteous anger shows up. Throw those Pharisees out of the damn temple. Burn their scarves as they're running away. Like, that's part of spiritual righteous anger. There's nothing spiritual about being beaten down. There's nothing spiritual about being abused or neglected or demeaned or made the scapegoat. There's nothing spiritual about accepting that at all. Like, override that. Stop feeling that way. Like, you have a right to protect your peace. You have a right to protect your home. You have a right to protect and say what it is that person's doing to you. And of course, I always want to start simple, especially if someone I'm not that familiar with, going, hey, when you say things like that or you do things like that, you hurt me. Like, I feel hurt. I'm feeling small. I'm feeling whatever you want to pick right now. And I do not want to be treated that way. If we are going to continue doing this, I'm going to need you to treat me this way. And if they do it again, you can raise it. Like I said, you can raise it a little bit and make it more of a point. But if they go to that third time, man, the holy fire. So, and of course, I'm sure that my message was a little bit above and beyond because I'm human like you. But don't think that you have to be a good person all the time and just bend over for people just because you're being spiritual. That doesn't make you any better of a spiritual person. You're not going to get a bigger house in heaven or go to a higher level of heaven just because you allowed people to treat you like shit. No. It's okay to fight back. You should. Starting now. Today.